Good morning to you. A mass shooting threat in Ravalli County sends a man to jail and puts local law enforcement on high alert for an end of summer festival. New this morning how it all happened. That's all coming up.
And Bozeman's still struggling to develop affordable housing even as a new project comes online. Coming up, how the city plans to tackle that growing problem.
Good morning to you. It is 6:30 here on your Wednesday. I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. Matt Elwell has our forecast here in just a moment. New this morning, the latest on the mass shooting threat made towards people attending the Ravalli County Fair this week.
Yeah, Bitterroot man is now behind bars for reportedly threatening to shoot and kill multiple people at the summer fair. Austin Fugelberg is being charged with felony intimidation after he threatened to shoot people at the Ravalli County Fair. Fugelberg said he was intoxicated when he made those comments. He then admitted to having some mental health problems and requested assistance. He was sent to St. Patrick Hospital in Missoula to be treated for severe alcoholism, but was eventually arrested for felony intimidation.
Now, although he is behind bars now, there are some residents still questioning if they should attend the annual fair.
MTN's Ken Lutzen has more on what law enforcement is doing to keep those fairgoers safe.
A mass shooting threat just days before the Ravalli County Fair is not an ideal way to kick off the summer event. Austin Fugelberg is charged with felony intimidation after he threatened to shoot and kill people at the fairgrounds. Separate from this man's threats, the Ravalli County Fair brings in plenty of people, and Sheriff Steve Holton says during this summer event, they already have increased security.
The way it looks is special, additional deputies and police officers that are simply assigned to the fair. So they don't. It's not our standard patrol shifts or anything like that we pull from. We actually put an entire shift at the fair, and we provide security 24/7 while the fair is going for the entire weekend.
The sheriff's office will provide security alongside the Hamilton Police Department. Fair officials are confident in the safety and are simply reminding people to be observant.
Pay more attention, keep an eye out, just be more vigilant, and that's something you have to do in everyday life anyway. We just want to make sure that people are, while we're here having a good time, worrying about animals and the rodeo and what we're having for lunch today, that we're just, keeping an eye out on our kids and everyone else's kids.
Holton adds it takes a community effort to report mass shooting threats, and that was exactly the case in this incident. The sheriff says because of that, Fugelberg is behind bars and will not be a problem for this year's fair. In Ravalli County, Kent Lutzen, MTN News.
By the way, the Ravalli County Fair kicks off today with a parade in downtown Hamilton that starts at 10 o'clock this morning.
Just good to have everything foiled and just have everybody be safe.
Yeah, and I'm guessing from what you've been saying, Matt, hydrate, maybe find a hat, because it's going to be a warm one out there for that parade.
Temperatures are going to warm up pretty quickly, especially in western Montana. Some of those areas could be into the 90s, so pretty amazing. It is chilly this morning. We're not talking 90s necessarily, but it is going to warm up quickly. Right now, 30 degrees in West Yellowstone, 45 in Belgrade, 41 in Butte. Lots of sunshine, a warm afternoon, pretty clear sky through the afternoon and most of the evening. By early tomorrow, a few clouds, maybe a chance of rain. We're, of course, going to break that all down for you in just a few minutes.
Thank you for that, Matt. Now, since last night, a new report is out that ranks violent crime throughout the state.
That report by backgroundchecks.org uses FBI stats to examine the 6 most populated cities in Montana and finds the state as a whole ranks somewhere in the middle of the pack across the United States.
Now let's take a look. The backgroundchecks.org survey ranks Kalispell and Bozeman tied for the state's safest city.
Great Falls is in 3rd place, followed by Missoula, Helena at 4th and 5th.
And Billings, the state's largest city, scored the most crime-ridden city in the state.
Also new today, the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office have identified the body found at Canyon Ferry Lake on Sunday.
Sheriff Coroner Leo Dutton said the man found was 57-year-old Murray Flaidland of Helena. Fishermen found the body in a bay between the chalet and the Fish Hawk recreation areas off of West Shore Drive.
Sheriff Dutton said Flaidland had a camp set up at Fish Hawk. The cause and manner of his death still undetermined at this time, pending the results of an autopsy. Sheriff Dutton did note that there was evidence found that suggests it was an accident.
And there is a case of vandalism at a church in Three Forks.
Officials say sometime Saturday night, someone spray painted 666 and the words "God is dead" on a brick wall at the United Methodist Church.
The church quickly removed the graffiti and no other damage was reported. Gallatin County Sheriff's Office is investigating that incident.
Back here in the Gallatin Valley, as city officials say a lack of affordable housing, the #1 issue facing Bozeman.
MTN's Gabby Crevitt reports on what the city is doing to address that issue.
It's no secret, finding affordable housing in Bozeman is a challenge. And it also depends on what your definition of affordable is. Tomorrow is the groundbreaking for the HRDC's Willow Springs townhomes located in northwest Bozeman. These homes will target a very specific part of the community.
So tomorrow there'll be a groundbreaking for Willow Springs, which is a compact neighborhood of 24 townhome units. Each of them are 2 to 3 bedroom, and they're going to be 100% affordable to those who make 70% or less of the area median income.
Different affordable housing projects target different income levels in the community, and that goes for rentals as well.
A lot of our rental units are targeting 60 to 80%. Some of our first-time home buyers target the area between 70 and 100%.
Deputy Mayor Chris Mell says the city is doing good work tackling the issue, but more needs to be done.
We're doing okay. We had more units started last year than ever before, so we're creating more housing supply. The other downside, though, is that we're having more people move here than ever before. So on the rental side, we're treading water. On the ownership side, we have some more work to do.
An affordable housing action plan is underway in the city. A draft of the plan will be released later this fall. In Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Now, the groundbreaking for the Willow Springs affordable housing until today. That'll happen at Baxter Square Park in Bozeman. Wednesday today.
Yep, today.
Yep, today.
Also new today, the trade war hurting many Montana farmers. U.S. Senator Steve Daines is heading to China next week, saying he wants to bring the voice of Montana ag to ongoing trade negotiations.
In a statement, the Republican senator said, with agriculture being Montana's #1 economic driver, with China being the second largest beef consumer in the world after the U.S., it is critical that the voice of Montana's farmer and ranchers have a big seat in the table during those negotiations. Now, Daines says also long-term solutions are key to Montana ag and that a deal needs to be reached. He'll be in Billings today to speak at the Montana Petroleum Association annual meeting.
Also, another new development this morning, a lightning-caused fire has been spotted in Yellowstone National Park.
The brimstone fire is burning on less than an acre of land on the east side of Yellowstone Lake. Now, because the fire is near Brimstone Bay campsite, that site has been closed until further notice. But the nearby thoroughfare trail remains open, at least for now.
Now, that fire is smoldering in a spruce and fir forest being monitored by Yellowstone staff. Staying in the nation's first national park, Steamboat Geyser in Yellowstone set a new record.
That's right. At 10:47 yesterday morning, the geyser erupted for the 33rd time of the year. That breaks last year's record for the most eruptions ever recorded on a calendar year by that geyser.
Before the world's tallest active geyser sprang to life last spring, it had been quiet for more than 3.5 years. Up until 1961, it was dormant for 50 years. But when Steamboat does erupt, it puts on a huge show, shooting 300 feet into the air.
You have to be kind of not next to the geyser to get an idea of how tall it is. You certainly get a sense of how powerful it is, but being further away, you get a sense of how incredibly tall it is and see those shots, jetting above the clouds of steam.
By the way, Bill Beverly, who runs the Yellowstone Forever bookstore near Steamboat Geyser, says this eruption, this record breaker, shot out a lot of debris and mud, which coated cars in the parking lot some 500 feet away.
So
souvenirs that you only get there.
I just want to apologize that you weren't there for the record-breaking eruption.
I just want to see one of those 300 feet in the air.
But what's really interesting, look at that.
That's phenomenal.
I was asking Chet and John Shear this morning, what do you do when your car gets coated? You can't use your windshield wipers.
No, in fact, that is the last thing you want to do because it's really fine added. It'll sandblast your windows if you do that, so you got to wash it off.
So Bill, the guy that owns that shop, said his wife has created this little concoction to get the residue off of the windows.
Yep. 500 feet from the actual base of where that is, it'll spread that stuff.
Isn't that amazing? And sometimes they say it goes up to 15 minutes.
Yep. Oh, one of the eruptions was 1 hour and 20 minutes. So.
1 hour and 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah. No.
You'll see it someday, Chad.
I'm hoping.
I promise. I promise. It is time for a quick break. Coming up on Montana This Morning.